morning. Welcome to the Unity Spiritual Center, Pflugerville, for the folks out in Lala. We just passed out an acorn. Now, the thing to know is this. Acorns come in the fall. Anybody familiar with that? So we couldn't find acorns, real acorns. These are plastic, believe it or not. But it's a symbol, it's a metaphor. An acorn is a metaphor. So we're going to talk about the metaphor, okay? And believe it or not, the Psalms and meditation, everything's leading up to this idea. And it's very, very interesting. There's an affirmation that I use quite a bit. I'm complete and whole just as I am right now today. Which indicates the oneness that we talk about. Everybody got it? One of the basic conversations in unity is God is good and it's all there is, but we're all one. And in that oneness, it's really believing it because the ego wants us to not believe it. The thing to understand is we have to be separate. Oh yeah? Thank you. Oh, isn't that exciting? Somebody should have helped me earlier. Can you believe it? Believe it or not, I did that in an audience of 300 or 400 one time. It's been a while, it really has been. See, everybody has foibles. Everybody needs somebody to support them and love them and appreciate them, just the way they are. So I am complete and whole, just as I am right now, today, no matter what happens. Okay, and what you think of me does not matter in my soul. And what somebody else thinks of you does not matter in your soul. Because you are complete and whole, just like the acorn. See, now here's the metaphor. Everybody get this? This is not a tree, agree? It's a nut, it's a seed. But is the potential for that tree in there? Yes. And guess what? It's an oak tree. Is it a peach tree? No. Is it a maple tree? No. Is it a pine tree? No. Is it any other kind of tree other than an oak tree? No. Yes.
And if anybody wants any live ones, I've got a whole yard full.
Me too.
Okay. Maybe we should bring a name around that.
Yeah.
The thing to understand is this. I am complete and whole just as I am right now today. Now, I did want to get involved in the metaphysical interpretation, and I pulled out the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. And actually, the revealing word is much easier. But you see this thing? This trust them or put this thing years ago, and every name in the Bible you could think of, there's a metaphysical interpretation for it. And there's also a metaphysical interpretation for tree. Okay? Now, a reference to a tree is in Genesis 2:9. And then guess what? It's in Revelation. So it's mentioned originally in the creation of the world. And then in Revelation, when it's at the end of the Bible, there's another reference to tree. And it's called the living tree. And what people miss a lot of times is when they were cast out of the garden, there were other trees. There were multiple trees. And it mentions living tree, and then it mentions the tree of good and evil. Okay? Which means choice. So we choose as human beings between good and what's called error rather than evil. So our journey in life is choosing between good and error. And within us is the automatic pattern. I'm going back to the acorn. The acorn is complete and whole just as it is right now today. And it's there to produce a tree. Yes? And what is its purpose in life? A tree. Anything else? No. Does it need anything else? No. All it needs is the environment that it grows in and that it prospers in, and it grows. Now, does it grow overnight? No. Does it take time? Yes. Is it dependent upon its environment and the way it presents itself? Yes. So one of the issues in life is, there's trees everywhere. And trees, anybody that stop thinking about trees gathered together in forests? Trees are valuable. Anybody have one in their backyard? Yes. And it adds value to your house. So a tree is endemic in this conversation and in this environment that we live in. And it's a perfect metaphor, example of who we are. So we are, you ready? Complete and whole, just as we are. Now, you ready for this? This is interesting. Okay, so metaphysically, a tree in Genesis 2:9 signifies a connecting link between earth and heaven, between the body and the mind. Okay, so we're right back to the difference between the mind or spirit and the body. And unfortunately, the body is taken over. But every tree that is pleasant to the sight pertains to the perceptive faculty of mind. Okay? So we're always looking for things that make us feel good. We're also on radar looking for every problem that could ever come up. Anybody familiar with that? We spend so much time, be careful, okay? And then we go on and says, the substance of spiritual thought is the food that is good. The tree of life, also in the midst of the garden, represents the absolute life principle established in man, consciousness. Now, here's what's interesting. We talked last week or 2 weeks ago about the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is in the body, and it's connected into the sight. And then it's the longest nerve in the body, which centers itself down here in the heart and the solar plexus. Okay? And the thing to understand is solar plexus is the median point of the body. Okay? And if you look at median point, it's the direct middle. So, there's a part of us that is connected mind, body, soul. So it goes on and says, the roots of the tree of life are centered in the solar plexus, and they are symbolized in the physical organism by the nerves. So if you take a look at that picture or that painting, you see all the root structure down there? Those are all the nerves that go down into our body. Okay? Now let's go back to the idea that the acorn is complete and whole, just as it is right now today. And the thing that determines how the tree comes out is the environment that it's in. There are acorns that fall on your property that you're going to give here that aren't going to then be able to germinate. So they're not in the right environment. They're not protected and taken care of. However, we are all one. We're all one with spirit. And everything we have is already taken care of. Now, I'm going to go back. I put my acorn somewhere. I don't know what to do with it. But I'll get another one. See? Thank you. I love it. This food is so giving, mother. You're ready to give your acorn away. Now, is the structure and the energy and the picture of a tree in this acorn? Yeah. Okay, so what is in you? See, we are told that you are the light. Jesus, see, again, following the teachings of Jesus, you are the light. You're the light of the world. The Father within you. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. So why do we have to go through all the crap that we go through? Excuse me for that word. That's known as technical language. It's because we're in an environment that isn't productive to who we are. And we're trying to become something that we're not. Now, I would love to be a maple tree. We've got a maple tree right outside of our house, across the street, and I love to. Matter of fact, yesterday Madeline was cutting my hair. She does that. And we were in the garage, and I was looking at the maple tree, talking about the maple tree. But this is not a maple tree. So the ego tries to tell us we need to do this. Anybody ever been told what they should do? Anybody ever, you got to change your, you don't like the way you dress. Your hair needs to be different. When you get old, you have to be, we have all these rules of the human self, which is the ego trying to hold us into a pattern that keeps us from being who we are. Who are we? We're the acorn, perfect and whole, just as we are right now today. Okay, so what is perfection? Okay, well, the metaphor for that is the Garden of Eden. Now, in the Garden of Eden, did they have everything to eat? Yes. Were they taken care of? Yeah. Did they worry? No. And what does Jesus say? He keeps saying, worry not. He said, love your neighbor as yourself, which sounds crazy in today's world, because you got to be careful. And somebody's different, you have to be careful with them. And we always need to be special. And here's another key. We are always looking for a relationship that enables us or enhances us. And we think we're not complete and whole, so we need a mate to go along with that. Anybody familiar with that one? I'm in a tough territory on this one. But the idea is, no, you're complete and whole just as you are. In relationship, we get to understand who we are. And who are you? I ask a lot of questions, okay? So who are you?
How did God go?
Light in the world, one with spirit, perfect and whole just as you are right now today. The whole premise of unity is God and I are one, which is another affirmation to continue using. So we are not broken. We are not missing anything. All we're trying to do is become a maple tree when we're really an oak tree. Okay? So it's an expression of who we are. And I'm starting to understand. Believe it or not, some of you know some of my background, but I've been aware of it. And Valerie and I were talking this morning about a book I ran into this week called Emergence. And this guy, he's a student of Michael Beckwith. Some of you know who Reverend Beckwith is. And he kept saying, we're trying to be something we're not because the world around us tells us this is what we should do. And who is the expert on what we should do? You. Because you are the cotton-picking acorn. Okay? Now, they might be the maple tree seed or the whatever it is. But the only expert in your world is the God of Christ within you. And it's getting in touch. Now we're going right back to first step. Remember the first step in the spiritual path is mindfulness. And mindfulness is taking the time to find out how I think, what I look at, what do I really believe? Why do I continue doing the same cotton-picking thing and keep getting the same problems? I'm familiar with that one, by the way. And I also realized that, and there's so many memories flooded back. Some of the issues I've been through, some of you know that I was on the circuit doing motivational stuff, did very, very well. But again, the motivational is the ego taking over and forcing through visualization something that I think I should have or somebody told me I should have. And I had, well, here we go. I had decided I should have a jet, I should have all kinds of things, so I was visualizing everything, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. Do you get that idea? Because I was deciding, somebody else tells me here's something you could do, and I took that on, which wasn't really part of me. So I'm learning that. And this is my journey, not yours, but I'm asking you to take a look at what I'm doing and saying, oh, am I really on the journey to express who I am? Anybody ever notice how when you tell the truth, you feel better? Anybody ever notice that when you speak who you are, you feel better? Anybody ever notice when you finally clean things up in your life, you feel better? Anybody ever had a neighbor or a friend that you were glad to say goodbye to and you felt better? See, that's you expressing yourself. And most of the time we don't listen to it and we feel badly. Oh my God, if I could ever get rid of this problem. Well, the kingdom of heaven is within. Okay, and I've had to learn that. You know, how did I go back to this, how did I wind up in Austin? I came here for the lesson, and you guys are delivering it. Okay? And are we growing? Yeah, we are. See, there's an energy here that's beyond the day-to-day kind of thing. Okay? And the world is out there doing its thing on what it thinks it should do. What we're doing is working on what the spirit within has programmed us to do. Because, you know, why are we here? And that's something to take into meditation. You know, look for mindfulness. Why am I here? What am I here to do? And that's back to the purpose. Well, I'm here to glorify God. Well, if that's true, then what am I doing to do that? Am I expressing who I am? Am I being who I am? Am I in relationship? And sometimes the relationship you have to be careful. Anybody familiar with narcissistic personalities? Okay, they want to run us because they know better. But however, that's an issue that occurs. So it's learning to express who I am, who you are. Okay? I was off on a tangent. I haven't covered anything I planned on talking about. And we are here to be in relationship and to share the spirit of who we are. And I go back to the metaphor of a symphony. In a symphony, beautiful symphony, everybody has a different job. Everybody practices and learns what they are there to do. Now, I'm not good at guitar. I can't play guitar. I can't play piano. I can sit in the back and cheer you on. I used to play the clarinet in high school. Don't want to do that anymore. But each of us has a role to play. And if we're not playing the role the way we are designed to express it, it's out of harmony with what's going on around us. Now, there's a lot of people out there out of harmony. Anybody run into them? I was thinking, sometimes they have a tendency to show up in family. I don't want to get into that. But the idea behind it is you are completely whole. You're not broken. You're not hurt. You're not less than. You are the child of God. And if you really understand inheritance, if you call yourself a child of God, what are you? And Jesus said, don't you know ye are God's? So the key is, you're complete and whole, just as you are right now today. God got everyone. Okay? And we don't believe it. Because the world's programmed us. It's even called blasphemy. Okay? But what is so wrong when Jesus said, you are the light of the world? So I love you. And that's the idea, because, and is it easy to love my neighbor as myself and as God? No, there's challenges in that. But anybody notice when you finally give up and love that person that you don't want to love, and things shift? You know who the biggest person we have to learn to love? Anybody want to guess? Yourself. You haven't made mistakes. The only thing you have time is growing. Thomas.
If you're on your journey or you're living your life, if you're not exactly happy, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
That no one else can fix.
Yeah.
But you.
See, he brings up an interesting idea. The idea is the problems that occur are things that are telling me I'm out of balance. I'm away from my true self. Okay? And true self is who you're really meant to be. And there's that inner voice that keeps saying, come on, boy, get back on track. Hey, girl, listen to me. Okay? And it wants you, sometimes I think I have to get more outrageous because I really struggle during the week sometimes because I'm starting to get it. I've been at this stuff for years. And it's going, oh yeah, I heard about that 20 years ago. I didn't do anything about it. Okay, and here it is. Oh yeah. And all I have to do is let go. Just surrender that I am a child of God. And what are you? Child of God. And then there's this little voice that says, okay, Robert, act like it. And when I don't act like it, I get issues in my life to remind me, hey, act like it. Okay? Do you ever notice when you worry about money dries up? Do you ever notice when you get upset about relationships and base your whole conversation about yourself on that relationship, you have more problems. Okay? And the reason I do that is life is relationships. And we're learning to interact with God because God is who? Everybody we're looking at. Turn around and look at your neighbors. Look at them. Turn around. Okay? And we are living among God individuals. And what are we learning to do? Get along with each other. And some of us we have to learn to stay away from. Others we have to learn to embrace, because we are here to learn who we are and then what we have to do to express who we are. So going back, the kingdom of heaven is within. It's kind of every time I turn around and I start reading, you know, I read other religions and I get involved in the Buddhist backgrounds. And we have Buddhists all over our house, and Ray's been in our house. We also have Kali and some of the Hindu figures around just to remind us. But guess what they teach? The kingdom of heaven is within you. You are one with God. And when we take the time to figure out who we are and start letting that go, stop criticizing ourselves and learn to love ourselves, life changes. Now, sometimes we need support in that conversation. I'm back to it again. We've got people that are wonderful prayer chaplains here, okay? Kevin, I love you. How long have you been at this?
Off and on, probably 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
And you grew up in a household of community nicks.
Lunatics.
Lunatics. And Valerie in the back row, yes. Tom? You've been at it for a while. They've been through training, 6 weeks of training with a, 3 or 4 different trainers over the years, and they've been at it for a while. So they like, and they're there. Like they call you once a month whether you like it or not. But if something comes up, why not call? You want to call?
Larry's.
I'm getting to Larry.
Coming around the room.
Larry was quiet. Anybody agree?
He is.
But boy, he's in more stuff than you can believe. You know, I mean, we do talk occasionally about energy and energy. He even studies the stars and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And you've been at it for a while, Larry. How long?
Prayer chaplain?
Well, the whole idea. I mean, but you've been prayer chaplain for 4 or 5 years, but
Yeah, well, I started about, 20 years ago.
yeah. Okay, and some of us came from fundamentalist backgrounds, Catholic backgrounds. What? So we are a community, and it's a community of believers, and how do we support each other? We love each other. Okay? As a matter of fact, it's amazing to me, people here won't even criticize each other. Now, they will complain. But we're a community, and what does a community do? We're here to make a difference in each other's lives. It's part of the expressing who you are. Now, I know, see, Larry, you understand he keeps playing his guitar and keeps chugging away, and he doesn't have a beautiful voice, but he really understands music. Yes. No, I'm true. But yet, I'm going to bet there's 2 or 3 voices sitting in this group right now that could be up there with Larry, right, Larry?
And support him.
Sure there is, yeah.
And supporting.
Go up there.
Support him.
Okay? So how do you change things? You love it and become part of it. See, the 3 C's. When you criticize, complain, or condemn, you're actually creating what you don't want. Okay? So I'm sharing with you, you are the creator. You are a child of God creating your world, and we love you, and when I learn to love and live in that love, things start changing. Okay? So that's my message this morning. But please take your acorn. You might want to keep it in your pocket, or if you want another one, put it on your nightstand, whatever you need to do. And remember, that's who you are. And that is, see, the acorn has everything in it. It's just a funny looking little thing that a squirrel picks up and eats. I know, I'm running 5 minutes over. Okay, that one looked like a watch. Okay? So please take it and understand you are God in that nut. And it's up to you what you do with that. And it's start forgiving and going into the silence. And I love you dearly. I'm so thankful that you're here because you're part of me. And you're part of me, and I'm part of you. Yes?
I'll report back next week with the plastic nuts because we have little baby squirrels. We'll see if they like them or not. I will split them out.
Put up the camera.
Okay. We've got to do what's next.